Hey viewers, welcome to Chunner Checks It Out. My name's Chunner. In this video, I'm going to be ranking all the anime that I watched that came out in 2025. Before I show you my list of all the anime, I just wanted to go over the criteria of why I put anime ahead of other anime. One of the biggest things that I look for in anime is the story. And so I really like a really good story. And I know that a lot of people like visuals as well. Everyone likes visuals in anime. It is anime. But I would say for me that anime that has really good visuals but a bad story is not going to be ranked very high just because I put the story above visuals. So if a anime has a better story but not very great visuals, of course it's not going to be in my top tier list of anime, but it might rank a little bit higher than some animes that might have fantastic visuals. Also, things that I look for in anime are, I feel like shock value is something that I try not to fall into. And so, for example, if an anime has a ton of blood and the story is, oh, whatever, I gonna go kill this person and that person, and there is no real story to me, but the visuals are S tier visuals, I can easily put that anime at a bottom of my list because there's no story. The shock value of showing blood and gore and fast-paced animation does not make me like that animation more because there's no story to follow. So that's something that I look for in anime. Of course, anime is anime, so it is the whole package and it should be story and visuals. So that's one thing that I would look for in anime. Yeah, that's kind of one of the main criterias that I look for in anime. For 2025 year of anime, I watched 51 anime. 35 of those I continued watching, and 16 of those I dropped. So drop means that I just stopped watching it. It could be that maybe I was just not interested in the story, or some seasons, maybe there were a lot of other better anime coming out, so I just kind of stopped watching that, or I might have just not had time. That's not to say that some of these anime I might not go back to, but for the time being, I basically stopped watching them. If you are new to my channel, like probably almost everyone here is, you are probably going to see some very hot takes on some anime that I have listed. And this is just my opinion on these anime. And so you're welcome to have your own. But this is just what I'm thinking about these anime at this time. So that's not to say that I could change my mind down the future, but that's what I'm thinking of right now. So here is my list for 2025. Yo, yo, yo. Let's check it out. I have 16 anime that I dropped. And the bottom is See You at the Food Court. This anime, I watched one episode. I was struggling through this one episode. It was basically two girls talking in a booth at the food court about your daily life. And that was the entire anime. So I dropped it. Then we have 15 Fell in Love with an Okinawan Girl. I think this anime would probably be better if you knew Japanese. I know a little bit of Japanese, but I can't place accents. So if you could say, for example, I live in the US, North America, and so if somebody was from New York or from Louisiana or from Texas, these are all places that have kind of significant accents on you. Hawaii, I'm from Hawaii, so also if you're from Hawaii, you probably have noticed maybe listening to a significant accent on the way that you say certain words. And so I think if you knew Japanese, this would be better, but after one episode, I just dropped it. Going to number 14, The Brilliant Healer's New Life. I honestly don't even remember this anime, so it was probably some kind of isekai, generic fantasy, that the story is all kind of the same to me, and it's hard to tell some of those apart, and there's hard to distinguish because there's hundreds of these of the same exact anime with the same exact starts. Going to number 13, I May Be a Guild Receptionist. This was very interesting. I wanted to keep watching this. I think I got to episode 2 or 3. This was a girl who wanted to just finish her job and then clock out. And so she had to work overtime sometimes to fight these monsters. And she was a overpowered OP character. And there would be these monsters attacking the village. Your A rank, S rank groups couldn't take them out, and she just wanted to clock out. And because she was so overpowered, she went and took out the monsters. The concept was kind of interesting, but yeah, I dropped it. Going to number 12, My Status as an Assassin, another isekai. I think this was the one where the whole class gets isekai'd into the world because they're summoned to be the hero. And then the one shy student guy shows that he's an assassin class. The animation was really kind of bad on this. And yeah, it was just another generic isekai. 11, Pharmacia. Pharmacia, I believe, was the one that was created by the author of Fairy Tail. I'm forgetting his name now. But yeah, so I thought this was going to be really interesting. I really like Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is one of my top 3 animes of all time. And the original Fairy Tail story, 100 Year Quest, I feel like took a little different turn. So just main Fairy Tail. But yeah, I just was not interested in this one. Then we have Cleavitus. Cleavitus, the first episode was like 45 minutes long, and it was literally, I feel like the whole thing wasn't even about Cleavitus in that 45 minutes long. I just couldn't get into it. Momentary Lily, this was, I feel like, I don't really remember this one. I think they were in high school or something, and then they did some kind of Sailor Moon transformation ability to fight off these monsters, and they all had tech guns or something like that. Yeah, I don't really remember this one. That's why it's in my dropped. Let's Play was actually kind of good. I was a little bit thrown off by the anime style. This style was kind of in a westernized style rather than the anime style. So that was what threw me off on Let's Play. I could not get past the first episode. But this story seemed okay. And sometimes, even though the anime is okay and the story is okay, anime is the whole package for sure. Shabake, I think, should be ranked higher, but after 3 episodes, did end up dropping it. This story was so far where I got to some kind of a murder mystery and talked a lot about yokai or ghosts. So I think if you're into yokai or ghosts, this could be okay. At points, the animation wasn't great, but I think it was watchable. It was just a lot of informational lore dump about yokai. And I know a little bit about yokai, but not a lot. And so it was a good informational anime about yokai, but I just had to look almost every single yokai up, and you're dropping 5 to 10 yokais per episode, and by episode 3 there was like 30 different yokais mentioned. Just a little overwhelming for me. I like the live action version of Game of Thrones, but it's kind of like book 1 of Game of Thrones, where in the first 10 to 15 pages, you kind of get like 15 to 20 characters mentioned. It's kind of too much. Then we have Dragon Ball Daima. I don't know honestly if Daima came out this year or this was a continuing from last year. I don't really remember. I did watch a few episodes, and I think if I got a little bit further along, maybe I might like it. And I might go back to this one, but I just didn't want to. I like Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is in my top 5 animes. Dragon Ball Z specifically. Dragon Ball is okay, and some of the other spin-offs, I forgot what they were after that. And History of Trunks, all the movies and stuff are really good. But yeah, I just couldn't get into this one. My Hero Vigilante should probably be definitely a lot higher on people's lists, just like Dragon Ball Daima. You know, I feel like people are gonna rank Dragon Ball Daima and Vigilantes quite high on their lists, and this is definitely some of my hot takes. I'm sure there are going to be a few more here coming up. We're getting to the end of my drop list. But yeah, just couldn't get into Vigilantes. I don't know if it was because I was watching My Hero at the same time, and just My Hero was way better than Vigilantes. I just couldn't get into it. There was nothing wrong with it. I don't know. I think it was just because there was other really good shows going on at the same time. So I might go back to some of these. Zenshu, I feel like, was talked about quite a lot, especially in the media. I'm not sure if people talked about it. I did go to a cosplay convention or a anime convention, and I saw some people dressed up as the main character of Zenshu. But it's basically an anime about making anime, and I feel like there's a few of these that do it really well, and this one just wasn't that great, honestly. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. I did watch 3 or 4 episodes, so I got that far at least. Same with My Hero Vigilantes. All of these, I watched 3 or 4 episodes. Shibake, Dragon Ball, My Hero, and Zenshu. Then we have I've Been Killing Slimes for 300 Years, Season 2. Season 1, I finished. I feel like I finished. Or I got to episode 9 or 10. I got close to the end. Or I finished watching all of it. And I don't know. I just wasn't into it. Season 2 was... I think I want to say maybe I was struggling at the end of Season 1. And I didn't want to rewatch Season 1 because... for me, it was kind of like a C-tier average anime, and there's so many anime out right now that I feel like there's no reason for me to rewatch C-tier anime when there's a ton of better anime to watch. So, yeah, I wasn't into it. Solo Camping for 2, I'm not sure if this one came out last year, or this was a continuation from last year to this year, or this was all this year. This one, I saw the premiere first 2 episodes, I want to say, at a convention that I went to, and they were having a premiere for it. So I watched the first 2 episodes, and it was okay. I like camping shows, and this was okay. And I feel like for me, there was other camping shows that were better than this from what I saw. But it was okay, and I just never really... after seeing those 2 episodes at the convention, I just never really watched it after that. So I'm not sure, again, if that was this year or last year. And here we go. A huge hot take. Dandadan Season 2, specifically. I watched all of Season 1. Season 1 was fantastic. And in Season 2, I got to about Episode 3... and it was literally making me dizzy. So I think what I am going to do with Dandadan, because I feel like the story is okay. The story's pretty good. It's okay. I like the characters. So I think what I'm going to do, especially for Dandadan, is probably just skip episode 3 or 4. That part that was making me dizzy, where they kind of went into this different world, and they're fighting some monster that like was making the whole screen spin or something like that. And yeah, I just couldn't watch it. I had to stop yeah, I'll probably just skip those episodes and then continue watching because most of it, especially all of season 1, was pretty good. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do with Dandadan, but I have not done that yet. So those are all the anime that I dropped, 16 total anime here. And then we're going to go through all the anime that I did finish watching. Number 35 here is Fake Strange Fake Episode 1. This one, I'm not sure if it should even be on this list because I think this was supposed to come out this year, but they only released episode 1 or 2, and then it seems like it's coming out in 2026 instead of 2025. So I just put this here. I honestly don't really remember a whole lot of this specific episode. I have seen Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night. Both of those are fantastic. And I really like the concept of Fate. And so I just put this here because I feel like it wasn't really finished. And I didn't know where else to put it because it was only 1 or 2 episodes long. So, and I don't even remember what happened because I think they released it and then something happened, maybe that they had to postpone it or push it back. So that's why this was at ranking 35. Otherwise, if it stays true to the Fate series, it would probably be higher for me. But we'll see because also My Hero and Dragon Ball Daima were on my drop. So we'll see how that goes. I want to say, again, I don't really remember this episode, but it was probably okay. Yeah. Moving on, we have 34, Scooped Up by an S-Ranked Adventurer. This was just a bad anime, and it kind of started out okay, another generic fantasy anime, and it just never really got any better. The animation quality was really bad. The story was okay. So yeah, let's just move on. I left my A-Rank party. I did watch all of season 1. Season 1 was fantastic. This anime did not need a season 2. There's no reason that season 2 should exist. And then on top of that, in the middle to later end of the season 2, then they threw in like, oh, I'm going to try and make some sort of weird story about the vending machine. No, you don't need that story. It should have never had a season 2 to begin with. Season 1 is fantastic. Stop watching this at season 1. A Heron, season 2. I honestly don't really remember a whole lot about this. So it's probably just more a Heron, which is basically a girl who they are in school, slice of life, where she is in school and she talks very softly so nobody can hear her or even know that she's talking except for this one guy who has a keen sense of hearing. It's probably just more a Heron, which is basically a slice of life where she is in school and she talks very softly so nobody can hear her or even know that she's talking except for this one guy who has a keen sense of hearing. And so they kind of hang out together. So kind of great slice of life. Witch Watch, I feel like Witch Watch was talked about quite a bit. And I feel like a lot of people watched Witch Watch. The reason I wanted to watch Witch Watch because is what I heard was that the entire season was supposed to be directed by Megumi Ishitani, who did a fantastic job directing quite a few episodes of One Piece, probably potentially some of the best episodes of One Piece. Or I don't know about the best, but definitely high up there for sure. In terms of visuals and style, I definitely see there's a few episodes in Witch Watch that you could definitely tell was different. But I think the overall style of Witch Watch just did not allow her to do a really good job if she is the one that directed all the episodes. So I'm not really sure if that actually happened or not, but I can definitely see in 3 or 4 episodes where the animation style changes from the Witch Watch style to a different style. And those are fantastic. Honestly, those are fantastic watches. Yeah, Witch Watch is just a kind of a slice of life sort of school. It's basically a witch going to school, and then she knows an ogre as a friend, and she has all these other people who are different species of fantasy creatures who are kind of look like students, werewolves, and things like that. So let's move on. Turkey, Time to Strike. This was basically, I think it would have been a really good anime if it was about bowling, but they kind of mixed bowling with Miss Isekai, and it just turned into a weird anime that I would say is not very good. Shield Hero Season 4. This is Season 4 specifically. Season 1 was fantastic. When Season 1 came out, I feel like Isekai was going in kind of the same direction where there's a character from real life and then they die or something and then they go into another world. And it's kind of like the same stories over and over again. And so when Shield Hero Season 1 came out, it flipped that story on its head, I feel like, and was really fantastic. And then after that, it was kind of hit or miss. Some seasons were good, some seasons were bad. Season 4, I feel like, was one of the bad seasons. Then we have Welcome to Japan, Miss Elf. This was kind of another isekai, and it was okay. It was basically this elf, and she was able to the guy who is isekai, when he goes to sleep, he goes into the other world, and then he touches this elf. He's awake, and then the elf all of a sudden comes to present day Japan, and she's, they're in a fantasy world, and then now she's in this place where there's cars and street lights and stuff going on. Then we have To Your Eternity Season 3. This is Season 3. Again, specifically, Season 1 and Season 2 are fantastic. And Season 3 kind of turns into more of a moral dilemma for the main character, Fushi. Whereas I felt like there was more story and action in Season 1 and Season 2, which is more my style. And this kind of internal dilemma of questioning humanity and choices was kind of a turn for me, and I'm not sure if I really like Season 3 all that much. Also, the intro to Season 1 and Season 2, I feel like were the same, and then they changed the intro in Season 3, and the intro kind of grows on me. It's kind of like a similar vibe, but then halfway through the intro, then it turns into this jazz horn thing. I feel like it just doesn't fit To Your Eternity for some reason. Then we have ranked 25, possibly The Greatest Alchemist. I think this was pretty good, but I don't really remember it. I think this was the isekai where he becomes an alchemist, basically, and he has 3 other girls. It's kind of like a Harlem isekai, I want to say, where these other females are with him for some reason. Then we have 24, Solo Leveling Season 2. This is going to be a huge hot take. For sure, this is going to be on number 1 on so many people's lists. So look, Solo Leveling for me is a pure monologue anime with fantastic action. The dude doesn't talk to anybody. For 90% of this anime, he's monologuing. The story is about, his mom's sick or whatever, and he wants to cure her. His mom is the only character that he ever talks to. There was one episode or a couple episodes where he's like hanging out with this girl because he kidnaps the girl. The girl doesn't even want to be there or something. Sure, the animation is good. Okay, the animation is S tier. I'm not going to deny that. But the whole anime is him monologuing. That's just not interesting to me. This is one of those anime that has a bunch of blood and gore and action with zero story. Okay, yeah, that's my hot take. 23, A Gather's Adventure in Isekai. This is another generic isekai where the guy goes into another world and he's granted all these superpowers by gods, and he's in a fantasy setting and he meets the elf, and same exact isekai story. Here's another anime that other people are gonna rank at number 1, Gachiakuta. I've talked a lot about Gachiakuta in another video. So the rundown is basically, I really like the idea of the story. The main plot of you taking care of your items for a very long time, and because you do that, then you become attached to your items, which then grant you how powerful this item's strength is. That is fantastic. The manga art is fantastic. The anime art is its own style. It's good. I'm not going to deny it. The art is good. I would probably give it an A or S tier for art, for sure. Yeah, this is just, I don't know. It's just not very engaging. Like, half the time I'm watching Gachiakuta, a lot of times when I watch anime, if I'm not reacting to it and I'm watching it without reacting to it, sometimes I'm eating something or doing other things. And in this one, I feel like, you know, for the ones that are interesting, I'll like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom or I need to do stuff. I'll pause it and go up, get more water or something like that. I'll pause it. For Gachiakuta, like half the time, like I wasn't pausing it. I was like just going and doing my stuff, and it was just like the story is just not interesting to me. Also, in Core 2, there was a really good story at the end of Core 1. That was really good, about the girl Amo. That was a fantastic story. And then in Core 2, about halfway through Core 2, the main villain guy or whatever that they're fighting starts talking about these sets of items. And that's great. Sets are great. You know, when you're playing the action RPG of Diablo and Grim Dawn and things like that, you go fight monsters and you collect these sets and they give you more power. Okay, the whole point of Gachiakuta is you taking care of your own items for a very long time and then using them. It's not so that you can go kill somebody, have never taken care of this item, but now you steal it from them and now you're super powerful. That's just against the entire concept of Gachiakuta. It's at rank 22 for me, and it's just not very good. Above Gachiakuta, I have Blue Miboru. Blue Miboru is a historical show about the, I want to say the Meiji Restoration area samurai in Japan. And it's when it takes place during a time when samurai are starting to become outlawed, and how they deal with it, and a group of these people who are called the Blue Miboru. I really like the story. The story is fantastic. I like kind of that historical fiction stories. Honestly, the visuals are pretty bad, but the story is really good, which is why this is above Gachiakuta. Then we have Welcome to the Outcast Restaurant. Basically, a character who, I forgot what his role is. He's kind of more of a support character, and he is in the main hero's party, and he gets kicked out because he's the support character and not the frontline character, and the people feel like he's not doing anything. That's pretty generic. So then he goes out and starts his own restaurant. I feel like this anime starts off pretty strong, and then it kind of slows down a bit. It's basically about him and the restaurant and some of his customers that he meets. And this is the first anime in the top 20. So we are in the top 20 now. We have Can a Boy-Girl Friendship Survive? This is a slice of life about a guy. He's in high school and he's interested in creating jewelry. And then he has a girl who's a friend of his, and she supports him, just kind of about their relationship and his relationship with his interest in making jewelry. A really good slice of life. Then we have Campfire Cooking in Another World. I believe this is season 2. This was actually just basically a cooking show. It's an isekai because he goes grocery shopping online and then he puts money in and then the shopping comes through him through some sort of portal or something. He's not overpowered, but his familiars are overpowered. And then so he basically tells his familiars what to do, and they want to go kill stuff anyway. So they go kill all these monsters, and then he turns the monsters into monster meat and makes all these fantastic dishes. My Hero Academia final season, ranked number 17. This probably is going to be a lot higher on a lot of people's lists. Yeah, I know this is the same story. Overall, My Hero is in my top 10 favorite anime. My Hero did not need a final season. My Hero should have ended last season. They should have just crammed everything that happened into this season into last season. You get some closure with the Todoroki family, and for sure in episode 1 or 2, the All Might fight is great. That's about it. You're just kind of milking this show for money. Then 16 is the anime Anne Shirley, is an anime based on a book, and I believe the book is called Green Gables, which came out in the early 1900s. And the story is about a girl named Anne Shirley, and kind of a historical slice of life fiction story about how she grew up in the early 1900s. I think the opening for Anne Shirley is really good. Yeah, that was at 16. Now we are in the top 15 at The Water Magician. The Water Magician is another generic fantasy isekai overpowered character. It's the same thing. But yeah, the story is really good. It starts out really good. It's definitely starts waning a little bit towards the end because the character is so overpowered. But I feel like this is kind of in the vein of the slime anime with Rimuru, and same overpowered slime character. That show is really good, and so is this one. And that show is on season 3 or season 4. And so I feel like if this show continues adding more characters and we see a buildup of characters, I feel like this could be in kind of that same line of show. Then we have Apocalypse Bringer Minangara. This started off really good. It started off really good, like a lot of these shows that came out this year, and then started slowing down a little bit towards the end. But this is another isekai of a guy going into a fantasy world. It's the same story, except that he's basically kind of playing a Civ game. If you played any of the video games of Civilization, I believe they're on Civilization 7 right now. I played a lot of Civ 6, and so it's kind of like that, where he's starting off to create his kingdom. So first they need to build buildings and then research and get materials so that they can upgrade to new buildings, create different things, get basket weaving and pottery and all that type of stuff. That's basically what Minangara is. And it's pretty good. It's just a little spin on the isekai genre. 13, Food for the Soul, is a slice of life of some characters that I believe these characters are finally going to college. So that's one of my things that I would say I wish anime would get fixed, is that a lot of anime characters are literally 2 to 3 years too young than they should be. In all these stories, they should be 2 to 3 years older than what they should be. And then that would make it so much better. I get why a lot of characters are 14 years old, is because that's when you are maybe new to experiencing different scenarios, and especially with relationships and things like that. These characters, I think, are freshmen in college, so that are 18, 19. And this is a fantastic slice of life show. Ameku MD, another fantastic show. This is a slice of life show of a girl who is a doctor, and she is really smart. It's basically her going around and seeing different patients, trying to figure out what illness that they have, and her trying to cure them. And it goes a lot into the sciences of the human body, and really interesting. I really like this show a lot. Then just missing out on the top 10, we got Kopi's Original Sin. I know a lot of people have thought this anime very highly. What is really good, I think, about this is the story that it's able to tell in only 6 episodes. Whereas a lot of shows, you're on season 3 and season 4 and you're telling the same story. This show literally does it in 6 episodes. And this show is a slice of life story of a 4th grade girl going through a very difficult time. The story probably revolves, the main characters are 3 kids all in 4th grade, and just kind of their relationship that they have with each other and with their parents, and what they're told to do by their parents, and how they're told to perceive the outside world. And very hard to watch, definitely at some points in time, but I think it does a fantastic job of telling a really great story in a short amount of time. Now we are going into the top 10 anime that I have listed. Here we go. Number 10 is Ruri Rocks. I feel like a lot of people have not seen this show. This show is a slice of life about the main character Ruri. And Ruri is in high school, and she one day sees a rock that she likes. So she wants to go collect these rocks. And she meets these 2 college girls. And she also has another high school friend that she meets. And so it's basically, the show is about these 4 characters who go around looking for different styles of rocks. And the college girls are kind of teaching Ruri and the other girl about these different rocks. And it's definitely a science, go to school show learning about rocks. And it is fantastic. Then we have number 9, Spy Family Season 3. Spy Family, when it came out, I feel like Season 1 was definitely groundbreaking, and I really wanted to see where the show was going. And it's definitely very wholesome, but after Season 1, kind of that novelty of introducing the main characters slipped away. And then you just have this family living together, and they all have these different styles of agendas that they want to do, but yet they are trying to live with each other and get along with each other and help each other out. Basically, Season 3 is just more Spy Family, and more Spy Family is not bad. I do say Season 3 takes a little bit darker tone as we start to see some backstories of certain characters. Some of the things that they talk about in Season 1 and Season 2, which are never shown, are kind of brought to light here in Season 3, and those things are actually shown, which gives it definitely a darker tone. So you have those really dark episodes, but you also have some really lighthearted episodes and some fantastic moments with all the characters of Anya, Lloyd, and Yor. Fire Force Season 3 coming in at number 8. Fire Force is a fantastic show. The ED of Season 3 by Umeda Cypher, Udusaiden, fantastic. I always wanted to watch the ED. This is so good. And the story is really good. I would have to say there is quite a lot of fan service, which I didn't realize. And so I wasn't sure. I would have to go back and watch season 1 and season 2 again to see the fans, if there was as much fan service. But there was definitely a lot of fan service in season 3, which is fine. You know, if shows want to do that, they want to do that. I feel like they could have cut down on that just a little bit, especially with Tamaki. But again, it's fine. The one thing that I didn't realize is that Fire Force is a prelude to Soul Eater. It was written by the same author, and this is supposed to be the same world. It's sometime before Soul Eater. So that's very interesting to me. And the visuals are fantastic. The sound is fantastic. Yeah, I would definitely say the sound, this, and we didn't get it this season, but that Slime Rimuru show. Those two shows, for some reason, I feel like their sound quality is just like up here, and everyone else's sound quality next is like here. So I'm not sure what they're doing that's better than everyone else's sound. Then we have Shangri-La Frontiers Season 2 coming in at number 7. This is a fantastic anime. This is just a fantastic show. I feel like Season 2 is definitely a little bit weaker than Season 1, but Season 2 is still really good. And yeah, they're introducing new characters, getting some of the characters that were introduced in Season 1 a little bit more time together to get to know some of these characters. And this is just a fantastic show. It's set in some sort of future time. I would say maybe, I'm not sure how much, 10, 20 years in the future. The main character goes to school. He's in high school, but he likes to play video games. So he's able to play these video games when he gets off of school. He likes to play these, what they call trash games, which are games that are made really bad and they have glitches. And so he tries to play these games and pass them as because they have these glitches and they're made so bad, then they're harder and harder to play. And so he's able to kind of use these glitches to exploit the game and pass them. And so Shangri-La Frontier is the new game that came out, and the character wants to play this game because he usually plays the bad games, but this is the best game. And to play this game, you kind of go into a VR world and play this game. And so it's basically about his real life world and then his gaming life in the world of Shangri-La Frontier, along with some of the people that he meets and some of the other games that he plays as well. So I think this is a fantastic concept. And again, Season 2 is not as good as Season 1, but it's still pretty good. Then we have number 6, Touring After the Apocalypse. I guarantee you, nobody is going to be talking about this show. I've heard a few people watching it, but for the most part, nobody I know is talking about this show. And this is a fantastic show. It's almost in my top 5 anime of the year. And of course, I have some hot takes here. So maybe this is a hot take, but I think this is a fantastic show. This show is about these 2 girls here that you can see, and they are, some kind of event happens, obviously an apocalypse, and they're touring. They're in Japan, and the apocalypse happened, and they've come out of the apocalypse. They go around to these different tourist attractions because they've been living hidden away, and so they want to be able to experience life and see all these different tourist places. So it's kind of basically a slice of life that happens in the future. So everything is a little bit changed, but for the most part, all the natural features are still there and the main structures are still there. And if you like to travel and want to see different tourist spots in Japan, this is basically the show for you. I would definitely say it's a lot like Laid Back Camp, just kind of a slow slice of life show. And there's also kind of a story going on, which is fantastic as well. It makes you definitely question what is happening. I really like this show. That is why it is at my number 6. I have reacted to this show on YouTube, so if you want to go ahead and check that out, you can do that as well. Honestly, I'm going to tell you, if I think a show is bad, it's bad. If I think a show is good, it's good. That's just how I feel. Yeah, this show is a fantastic show. Coming into the top 5, another anime show that probably nobody has ever watched. This show is called Catch Me at the Ballpark Season 1. This show is a slice of life about this girl, and she is a beer vendor at the baseball park in Japan. And basically this show is a bunch of short stories of different characters who would maybe go to the baseball park in Japan. So maybe you might see the life of some of the fans and why the fans go watch the show, maybe some of the players and some of the other characters and some of the other vendors there. And it's a bunch of kind of little short stories about why all these people are gathered here at this game at the ballpark. And this show is fantastic. Then we've got coming in at number 4, The Apothecary Diaries Season 2. Season 2 definitely has a different vibe than Season 1. This show is about this girl here, Mao Mao, and she lives in, I want to say, China in the 1700s or so. She basically gets kidnapped and is asked to work for the government or for the monarch, and so she's kind of doing slave labor, I guess, is the best thing that I could say. But they're also treating her right. You know, they're feeding her meals and things like that. But she's doing some manual chores that the castle needs to get done, like laundry and things like that. And she was raised to learn about medicine, and so she knows quite a lot about medicine, and she is interested in different plants and their interactions and how to create medicine and salves and things like that. And so she likes to experiment with these things, but because of that, she knows how to cure a lot of things that might be common during the time in the 1700s. During that time, I want to say it's the 1700s, but during that time, you don't have internet to be able to look things up. So basic general things like your common cold or things that you might take for granted now because we have ibuprofen and Tylenol and things like that, they weren't available during that time. And they weren't widespread knowledge about how to cure these things. You know, some basic diseases that we take for granted now are killing hundreds of people during that time. And so because of this knowledge that she has, she's able to help the castle into prosperity, and she starts affecting all these people around her. And it's basically her story and one of the person who runs the castle here, Jinshi. And so season 2, kind of halfway through, has this side story going on, which is very interesting, and it's definitely a little bit different than season 1, but yeah, it's all Apothecary Diaries, and I'm interested to see where they go. I think season 3 is supposed to come out next October, so I'm excited for that. Coming in at number 3, we have Re:Zero Season 3. Re:Zero is another isekai fantasy story. I don't know how many times I've said that already, but yeah, the main character, Subaru, is died in his world and then goes to this world, and he has this weird power. You're watching this already, you've probably seen it, maybe. If you haven't seen it, he has this weird power. But yeah, season 3 is a fantastic season. So there are, as you can see, a ton of characters here that he's met over the course of these season 1 and season 2, and some new characters that they meet in season 3. It is really fantastic. I would say I am missing some characters that were introduced, I think, in season 2. They are not with us right now. They were not in season 3, but the story for season 3 was fantastic and really good. ReZero. Coming in at number 2, My Dress Up Darling Season 2. This is a fantastic slice of life anime about the main character here, Gojo, and he is a high school student. His family business basically is making dolls. This girl here, Marin, and she is into cosplaying, but she doesn't know how to sew. Because Gojo knows how to make these dolls, he is able to sew some cosplays for Marin, and it's their relationship. And season 2 is fantastic. The animation is fantastic. It's a slice of life, and there's literally no action in it, but this season is fantastic. So good. Really, really good. Kind of a drama, comedy, heartwarming, slice of life show. Really good. Coming in at number 1, we have One Piece Egghead Arc. Egghead, I have to say, is probably in my top 5 One Piece anime arcs. I think they're probably at 20 or 30 arcs right now, and Egghead is definitely in the top 5. The story that was introduced in Egghead is so good. So good. I gotta say, Egghead is kind of that mech futuristic style. Cyberpunk is kind of more dark and dreary. It's kind of more of an upbeat cyberpunk, I would say. Usually I don't like that stuff. I don't really gravitate towards that stuff. I like that fantasy story better. So I am really surprised that I liked Egghead. And there's the arc that was right before this that I really wonder. Both of those are definitely probably in my top 5 One Piece anime arcs. And I'm not sure which one I would put in, because in the last arc was more my style of that fantasy setting. And this is kind of more of a futuristic setting. But the story in this is so good. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. If you haven't watched One Piece, I would definitely say I'm kind of on the fence of recommending One Piece just because it is so long. But if you just watch episode 1 and you like it, then yeah, go ahead and continue. If you haven't seen One Piece, just watch episode 1. And episode 1, I feel like, is the vibe of One Piece. For sure, the animation is dated on episode 1 because it came out 25 years ago, but it's still really good in my opinion. And that's the only reason why I would hesitate for you to watch One Piece if you've never seen One Piece, is that it is a lot of time to take to catch up to where we are now. But if you like watching TV, I think this is some fantastic TV, fantastic anime, fantastic storytelling, fantastic world building, fantastic character relationships. There's so many good things about One Piece, and that's why it's at my number 1. And Egghead arcs specifically, this arc is at my number 1. It's just a fantastic show. So going ahead and recapping here, we got One Piece at number 1, Egghead arc. Number 2, My Dress Up Darling Season 2. Number 3, ReZero Season 3. Number 4, Apothecary Diary Season 2. Number 5, Catch Me at the Ballpark Season 1. Number 6, Touring After the Apocalypse Season 1. Number 7, Shangri-La Frontier Season 2. Number 8, Fire Force Season 3. Number 9, Spy Family Season 3. And number 10, Ruri Rocks. So those were my top anime of the year, and all the anime that I watched in 2025 season. There were a few anime that I did watch that came out not this year, so those anime were not included. These are just anime that came out in 2025. Tell me in the comments below if you like this list. If you disagree with me, I'm sure I have some hot takes on this list. Yeah, tell me what your favorite anime is, and tell me why you think you like that anime. What do you think about Gachi Akuta and Solo Leveling? Maybe you like it, maybe it's your top anime, but my top anime is One Piece, and you saw my list there. Thanks for watching, we'll see you later. Bye.